Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. I realize I have been gone for an exceptionally long time, but with everything going on in the world, and we moved, and I got a couple of new cars, and I've managed to stay busy, if not overly busy with work, and I wanted to introduce you guys to my new car. Well, one of them anyway. This is my 99 BMW 328 IS. I bought this car from a guy locally up in San Jose, and it's supposed to be my new drift car. Now, I have never drifted a car ever, so I don't know what I'll end up doing or how well I'll end up doing with it, but we picked it up cheap. I've got a new motor for it sitting way over there in the bed of the truck because this one makes chocolate milk. Inside the car, we've got an NRG seat already put in, but it's poorly put in, and then a second NRG seat in the back so we can pull out the other one. Now, I've had this car for a little bit, but I haven't really done anything with it other than basically just try to break it so that I have a really good reason to pull the motor out, or at least motivate me to pull the motor out. But I've got a hydro for it in here somewhere. I've got harness on the way. Got to get some coilovers ordered and brought in because the fronts are just junk, and the rear, well, and you can see how it sits. I have the 4 matching wheels. I don't know anything about BMW to tell you what style, what car they came off of, if these are the stock wheels right here or not. But I have those 4, plus I have the other one that matches that other side, and I'm just going to get a bunch of stock wheels for now to throw some tires on so we can go do some pretty sick, nasty, crappy burnouts. Maybe slide this thing around a little bit. But for now, I'm gonna try to do an inaugural burnout and not go to jail for it. So stand by for that. Well, I wanted to do a burnout for you, but unfortunately, it's daylight here, and I can't piss my new neighbors off just yet. I'm not quite ready to be that guy. But as you can see, I've got the hood off the car. The hood's off the car, it's up on jack stands. We're gonna start to pull the motor. And if you look carefully, you see all the wonderful chocolate milk that is on the inside of this motor. Windshield's cracked. The interior's not in the greatest shape. I did manage to find this guy. I got some steel brake line and my wonderful Amazon hydro handbrake, because nothing but the best for this car. And of course, we got to pull some of these juvenile stickers off of it. But it is what it is. I'm excited to get to start working on this car, and hopefully when it's not 100 million degrees outside, can actually get some work done on it. For now, I think I'm going to pull the motor out of the truck, get it on a stand, and get it rolled in the garage to get it out of the heat, and in case somebody decides to make it rain on us, or it doesn't get stolen out of the truck. But I got to go find the right size bell housing bolt so I can bolt it to my engine stand. Surprise! It's 2 days later and nothing's happened. The car's still in pieces, or well, it's still in one piece. And I've got as far as unplugging the airbox and buying a new drain pan. If I had a camera that would time-lapse, I would time-lapse this, but I'll stop and take videos throughout the journey so you can understand my pain with me. I guess let's get started. Well, as promised, I've been working entirely too long, and all I've got out is the radiator. Fumbled my way through taking the intake off, and that's about it. I've never messed with one of these cars, so I don't know what absolutely has to come off. or what doesn't have to come off before pulling the motor itself out. So I'm probably going to end up taking out way too many things, but at least I'll know what not to do next time. Well, getting closer. Managed to get the alternator out of the way and this huge giant chunk of wiring. I have no idea what any of it does, but it's getting there. Next I gotta pull the power steering pump, get the exhaust out, and undo the bell housing bolts, and I should be able to pull the motor free. I think. But we'll find out, because I have no idea what's happening, but I'm gonna try. Well, I did a thing. Probably really didn't need to do this to take the motor out, but I'm working in a confined space. So we pulled the whole front core support and everything off. Don't worry, the AC was already discharged when I got the car, so I didn't have to worry about polluting the atmosphere even more than I already do. But it's a slow process. I'm not working probably the most efficient way, but I'm getting it done. So hopefully I can get this motor out tonight, figure out what I need to put the motor back in it, and then after some mountain biking tomorrow, I am going to hopefully get the motor put back in on Sunday, along with getting the seat mounted properly. I got the harness bar I ordered showed up, and my new harnesses should show up. And then once I get everything put in, I'm also going to probably go ahead and delete the ABS and put my hydro in right now while the motor's out. That way I have access to the ABS system and all of the master cylinder and stuff pretty much unobstructed. And then once I get it all in, hopefully I can finally take the car for a rip. But there are some things I need to get done too. I gotta have a windshield put in. We were beating on it with a hammer earlier, just messing around. And then this top plate, missing one of its studs, so I gotta get a new top plate. And eventually, here hopefully soon, I'm gonna get coilovers for it so that I can take this thing for a proper rip. But I will check back in as soon as I've got a little further done with the motor. But for you, it'll be right about now. And I think I'm mostly there. Somehow I've managed to it looks exactly the same as it did the last time you saw it. And I've spent like another 45 minutes, if not an hour, fighting with this bolt right here and this bolt right here. And then there are two bell housing bolts that I can't get the camera back in to see. One is right here and one is further down. And they've taken me like 40 minutes to get all of those out. And I even have the right tools. I've also been really avoiding laying on the ground, but I'm about out of time. So pretty much the only thing left is taking the exhaust off, undoing the rear bell housing bolts, or the bottom bell housing bolts, and then the two motor mounts, and then I can pull this thing out. I had to stop what I was doing because my friend, the FedEx truck showed up, and we brought presents. Now I know that I should have spent a little bit more money and bought the cam lock set, but I got new harnesses that showed up, SFI certified, so at least I have that. 5-point harnesses for the car. For way too nice a harness for way too junky a seat, along with the harness bar that I bought that I'm hoping is gonna work. Eventually, I'll go full cage in the car, but for right now, we're just gonna kind of keep it sort of bare bones and cheaper, and hopefully, everything will be okay. I'm almost ready to pull the motor out. I've got 2 motor mount bolts to go, and then however many 3 or 4 more bell housing bolts, and then the exhaust has to get unbolted. But I dropped my star socket, and it's vanished. So I gotta look for it now, and when I find it, I'll let you know. Well, I've been calling this motor the chocolate milk motor, and here is why. I finally pulled the drain plug on it, and it's draining what looks like really nasty chocolate milk, and it's been draining for like a minute now at least. And I think it's finally getting close to done. So this motor had to have had like 6 or 7, 8 quarts, but probably twice full what it should be, full of this chocolate milk mixture, which is pretty gross. I wasn't sure I was going to be able to smog this car and make it street legal, but looking underneath it, all of the catalytic converter and all of the junk back there is still here, so it might be possible to get the car smogged so I don't have to get it just off-road use only, but I will find out. I don't know. I'm still just sitting here talking, and all it's still doing is draining. It's ridiculous how much goop was in this motor. I'm not really any further done now than I was before. I still have to pull the lower motor mount bolts. And I have to pull, or rather I have to pull the lower bell housing bolts, and I have to pull the motor mounts and exhaust off still. But I figured I would drain the oil, that way I wasn't pulling it out and gonna have this chocolate milk full motor sitting in the backyard somewhere. But I'm going to try my very hardest to get this motor jerked out of the car right now,
even now,
so
in
that
this very room, you can see
I can end this video finally.
Or when you turn on your television, you can feel it.
I finally reached the milestone that I think is pulling the motor out of the car. Let's see what happens. Pardon my ratchet strap hold up. It's all I have, it'll work. I was hoping to be able to leave the trans in the car, but I'm not sure if I'll be able to separate it from the motor. There is a jack down there, but it may not want to come free. I guess we'll find out.
That has been pulled over your eyes to blind you from truth.
There we go. Now that it's
that you
sort of
are a
settled,
slave.
you might be able to get underneath it and pop it free. Well, I learned that I definitely needed to pull the motor and the trans together. So, thanks for watching. Tomorrow I'll bolt the motor back to the trans, get the trans unbolted and pull it out. And I'll hopefully have another video up for you guys on either Sunday afternoon or Monday sometime. But my plan is to get the motor and trans pulled out, get the new motor ready, everything put back together, put in the car, and then well, this was supposed to be a second video, but since I didn't realize that my clutch was in Fresno and I'm not in Fresno and it's too late for me to go over there to get it today, and I'm going to go up there tomorrow anyway, I figured I would just add this to the tail end of the video. I managed to get the motor out and separated, and if you look at this wonderful clutch, you can see that it's seen better days. Now, the flywheel hot spotted like crazy and dual mass, but I'm kind of cheap, and I'm just going to throw a brand new clutch on that flywheel because lifetime warranty says that if I burn a clutch up or it starts to chatter, I can return that clutch and get a new one, and I'll just buy a new flywheel at that point if I do decide to, if it does come down to that. So for today, I'm going to get the other motor built up and ready to go, and then I might go ahead and do the seat and the harness and stuff and get the inside ready, since I can't do anything else on this until tomorrow. So thanks for watching. Have a wonderful day.